Today is day 10 of former President Donald Trump's first criminal trial. Court began today with another hearing on Trump's potential violations of the judge's gag order. The prosecution laid out 4 new instances where they say the former president made, quote, corrosive comments about Michael Cohen, David Pecker, and the jury. Trump's lawyers shot back, saying Trump was just responding to questions from reporters. After the gag order hearing, the jury then heard new testimony from Keith Davidson. He's the lawyer who helped arrange hush money payments for 2 of his former clients, Stormy Daniels and Karen McDougal. Both women claim they had affairs with Donald Trump. Claims that Mr. Trump denies. Joining me now, NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard. He's outside the courthouse for us once again. Vaughn, court is about to resume after the lunch break. What have we heard during that testimony so far?
Right. Keith Davidson is sort of this odd figure working as the attorney for Karen McDougal and Stormy Daniels during the negotiations of the selling of their story. And he's now currently under cross-examination, where the defense for Donald Trump is trying to make the case essentially that, that to a certain extent this was extortion, one could even say, of Stormy Daniels' story, comparing it to the fact that he had also previously worked with the likes of Hulk Hogan and other quasi-celebrities to cover up salacious stories about them as well in order to be compensated and make money off of them. And this, with the jury sitting there, is an effort to discredit him as an attorney and somebody who was seriously working on behalf of his clients. On the other hand of that, the prosecution for the first couple hours here this morning was asking very specific questions of Keith Davidson, including text messages that they brought forward between the jury to show that, in fact, the hush money payment that was arranged between Michael Cohen and Stormy Daniels was an effort to change the outcome of the 2016 election. And they pointed to election night, 3 a.m. text message in which Davidson sent to the editor-in-chief of the National Enquirer, quote, "What have we done?" To which the editor-in-chief of the National Enquirer wrote him back, quote, "Oh my God," showing that they were acknowledging that their efforts were in furtherance of helping Donald Trump win the presidency.
Vaughn, can we talk about the gag order as well? So Mr. Trump is not allowed to make any comments about the jury or witnesses. There were 4 instances the prosecution says that Trump violated that. I want to play those and then we can talk about it.
When are they going to look at all the lies that Cohen did in the last trial? He got caught lying in the last trial. So he got caught lying, pure lying.
That jury was picked so fast, 95% Democrats. The area is mostly all Democrat. You think of it as just a purely Democrat area.
Michael Cohen is a convicted liar, and he's got no credibility whatsoever. He was a lawyer, and you rely on your lawyers. But Michael Cohen was a convicted liar.
When you brought up David Pecker's testimony so far, when was the last time you spoke to him?
No, he's been very nice. I mean, David's been very nice. He's a nice guy.
So the prosecution is saying what about all those comments?
Right. 2 of them were attacks on Michael Cohen. One was suggesting that David Pecker was a nice guy while he was in the middle of testimony. Again, based off of his gag order, he is not supposed to be talking publicly about witness testimony that could impact this criminal proceeding. And that 4th one was when he made the suggestion that 95% of the jurors are Democrats, which just is not based in fact here. And yet what the prosecution contended here was that just days after Donald Trump was found to have violated his gag order 9 times and was fined $9,000, he continues to do the very thing that the gag order explicitly says he's not. The prosecution made the case to the judge that this was persistent and escalating rhetoric, that the defendant knows what he is doing, and that his statements are, quote, corrosive to this proceeding and to the fair administration of justice. The prosecution wants him to be punished again, and a clear message to be sent to the defendant, Donald Trump, that he cannot further violate the gag order against him.
Right, Kate? And Trump's team saying that he was just being asked questions and answering reporters. Vaughn Hilliard.
And that he should be able to respond to the attacks that have been made against him. Right,
gotcha.
Kate?
Gotcha. Thank you, Vaughn. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.